So in this video I'm going to discuss more how I came to be in the lifestyle I currently find myself in. Hold it, guys. So I left the rat race in 2020, at the end of 2020. Had a job that was a little bit stressful, and dealing with people in the area that I was working in wasn't great a lot of the time. There's a lot of hatred, a lot of very little regard for other people's lives, and it became a case of time to get out. I got this little guy, and that was it. Once I got her, every minute I wasn't with her was like a minute wasted. When she was a puppy, every time I looked at her, got home from work, she was 50% bigger than when I left. So I got myself the van, little Antoinette as she's called, not my name, obviously, but that's what she's got on her side, and it kind of seems like that's what she's got on the side anyway. When you're doing this life, it's there's a lot of compromise to this. You just have to find your level of what is acceptable compromise for you. Do you need a BMW? If you need a BMW, then get a BMW, but then you have to get a job to pay for that BMW. If you need a 65-inch plasma TV, get a job that pays you enough money to get a 65-inch plasma TV. If you'd rather spend your days walking around places like this with guys like this, then you have to compromise on things like 65-inch plasma TVs and BMWs and a house. But the rat race is, I think a lot of people are becoming quite disillusioned. The social contract's been destroyed by the governments that control us, and we're no longer getting back what our parents' generation and their parents' generation work hard, pull your feet up by your bootstraps nonsense, which was good for them because they could go and buy a pub and then they'd be a publican for life. Nowadays you buy a pub and you end up owing some brewery tens of thousands of pounds. Oh, there's a train. Now obviously there are massive compromises to this. Least of all is, how do you function with next to no money? This is something I have been rattling around for the last 5 years trying to figure out. I've come to the conclusion that trying to make YouTube videos is the way to make money. I've seen other people who buy and sell vintage stuff or collectibles. I find that isn't particularly compatible with van life because you kind of need a base for something like that. But as with everybody else, YouTube and van life seems to be the happy little marriage of the 21st century. However, what the actual fuck? Oh, come on, let's go, Harley. Come on. It is hot today, as you can probably tell. The thing I did was I tried to figure out what it was I liked doing now. tried to figure out what it is I liked to do most in the world, and it wasn't playing football anymore, wasn't going out drinking and partying and womanizing and whatever else. Certainly wasn't running around in an ambulance. And I realised that the one thing I love doing more than anything else in the world is taking my dog for a walk. Now, that is not particularly amenable to making money. You've got to figure out how do you do that. And of course, at the moment, there's only one way possible to monetize walking a dog, and that's put it on YouTube. So here we are. Obviously, it's more to it than walking the dog. It's obviously seeing the world, isn't it? So far, we've only seen Britain. We've seen a lot of it, but we'll be seeing Europe. We better do this from Germany. Apparently, you have to manifest these things. I do wonder what it is about modern society that makes it so violent. It's obviously massively to do with population. I mean, the Mouse Utopia experiment proved that back in the 60s, or showed that. And we do seem to be following the same sort of traits as those little mice. But when you get out here, it's all for nothing. Like all that city living doesn't mean a thing when you're out here. The people you meet out on the road here are always lovely. You don't feel like you could lose your life just for looking at the wrong person the wrong way. Biggest danger you've got is being attacked by flies. So I was left with a choice. Choice was either do this or find a nice piece of rope, and so I chose to do this. It's been 5 years, and so far I haven't had a day where I've wished I was back doing what I was doing. Wouldn't mind a shower. These guys with their fast cars, I don't know if that's coming through on the audio or not. I cannot imagine how it's not. But they're just filling in a hole in their lives. Buy a car that makes a loud noise. Buy a TV that makes a loud noise. Go to a party. When you're not reliant on having to be enslaved in an area for X amount of hours for a given amount of money, you don't need to fill your life up. I used to do all that. I had my 350 that I used to bomb around in. Like, that holds no appeal to me at all now. And alright, I'm older, but this is how we were supposed to live our lives. We're supposed to be in little groups, in great big cities, faceless people, nameless people, people that you can other because they don't look like you or talk like you. There is something to be said for people who don't think like you. It's nice to be able to talk to people like that, but often they don't want to talk to you, they want to preach at you. And I don't have a problem with doing some work for somebody. If they said, we need to paint the side of my house, here's 100 quid, I'd be more than happy to help them paint their house for 100 quid. But the one thing my soul can never tolerate ever again is somebody saying, here's some money for your hours, for this amount of your life. Here's for 8 hours of your life, I'll give you this much money. No, thank you. I'd rather not. I'd rather not have somebody. I've had my entire life dictated to me as to where and when I'm going to be somewhere. I was put in a position at work once where someone in their 20s was going to tell me that I could sit in a room for 12 hours just because he said it, and I was going to be obliged to sit in a room for 12 hours as a bloke rapidly heading towards 50, being told by a little kid because he had something on his shoulder that I didn't have, and that's not, I don't want that anymore. There isn't enough fun tokens for me to do that again. And if that makes me not healthy of mind, as some people in my family would seem to believe by the looks of it, then so be it. But I can't see how I'm the crazy one when I'm out here doing this and people might be watching this sat in a cubicle for 8 hours so that you can pay for a rent on a flat and then maybe have a little bit left over to go down the pub and drain away your sorrows. Have you got an itch by any chance, Harley? Can you? Yeah, you mind? Am I the crazy one for wanting this over a cubicle? What do you reckon? The world is a beautiful place, and I think we should spend more time out in it. Hey, what do you think? Should we spend more time out in it? Yeah?